next take that I want to address tonight is something I don't normally do, something I don't find myself often doing, and that is defending AEW wrestling. But this kind of continues a theme that I've talked about for the last couple of weeks, and that is this idea of kayfabe needing to be protected. Now, this take was dropped this week after what happened, I believe, at Revolution. Here's the take. It says, stupid to let an actress come on wrestling pay-per-views and say that wrestling is fake. How dumb can Tony Khan be to let this happen? I've been vocal about this the last couple of weeks, but I really want to lay into it right now. It is 2025. I will keep saying that until I turn blue, right? Why can we not just grow up? Like, why can the IWC just not grow the fuck up and admit that we all know wrestling is a scripted entertainment form of art, and that no matter if an actress in the stands accidentally says that out loud, or no matter if The Rock, the final boss, goes on Twitter and he says it out loud, it's not going to hurt the business, nor should it change your perspective on how you experience professional wrestling. If you are a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman and somebody telling you something that you clearly already know to be true, if that affects your ability to process information, you need to go seek help immediately. You need to go find out what's going on inside of you, because you're a punk bitch then. Just because something worked for 20 years, right? Just because 20 years ago it was sacred to protect kayfabe, that doesn't mean that things don't evolve. That doesn't mean that in modern times we all have to play along, that wrestling is anything other than just what it is. It's professional wrestling. It is scripted fighting. And I will defend Tony Khan on this. This is not Tony Khan's fault. He just put a microphone in somebody. He cannot control what they say. This is not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's fault. He has sponsors and people he has to answer to, so he has to say things a certain way. And you dweebs in the IWC, you go to the dirt sheets every single day and you look for every spoiler you could find, and you try to break kayfabe on your own every single day. But when someone else all of a sudden breaks the fourth wall, you have complete meltdowns on the internet. And to me, it's cringy. It's weird. I remember last week when the IWC were attacking me for defending The Rock and saying that The Rock saying, talking about he's playing the role of the final boss, that it wasn't the equivalent to what I equated it to was Robert Downey Jr. saying that he talks about being Iron Man. The response from the IWC was, well, Robert Downey Jr. doesn't say it during the movie, which I argued that The Rock's not saying it during the movie. Every episode of Monday Night Raw is its own movie, and The Rock is speaking about it in between movies, which I find to be completely fine, right? Now, here's the problem. This same IWC that attacked me, that tends to be AEW fans, it was like a present that was handed to me from the angels on like a silver platter. But what happens is, at an actual AEW event, someone actually said it in the middle of the movie. And I'm here to explain that I could keep my consistency. I could be petty. I could be petty right now and throw this back into the face of the IWC and go, no, that's what it's like when someone says it in the middle of the movie, and that's bullshit. But I don't even think that's bullshit. As a grown casual wrestling fan, I can keep the consistent energy to say I still don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't blame Tony Khan. I don't blame AEW. How is AEW supposed to know that somebody who was filming a wrestling movie was going to blurt this shit out? This should be a laughable moment. As casual wrestling fans, as IWC, as people there, we should just laugh at what happened. She made a mistake, right? It's not a 5-alarm fire. We don't need all the basement trolls freaking the fuck out, getting on the internet, tapping at their keyboards, screaming like they just learned nuclear secrets, right? It's comical. She said something. It broke the fourth wall. We can take it in jest. We can laugh about it. But we got to chill, man. This is wrestling, right? The other day, I got a comment it made me laugh so hard. I got a comment from someone who told me that I use the F word too much. And I was like, well, I do say fuck a lot, right? I'm a grown man. I'll say fuck when I want to say fuck. And they answered me back and said, no, I'm not talking about fuck. I'm talking about the word fake. You throw the word fake around way too often, Dirty D. I said, I can't say fake. I can't say a sport where they act out fights is fake. What are we protecting here? We all know it's fake. That doesn't discredit what it is, right? You want to talk about the reality, right? We all saw one of the greatest fake fighters, CM Punk, right? One of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. We saw a fake fighter go into a place where they do real fighting, right? And we saw how that worked out. The issue is that the IWC wants to take that word and turn it into an insult when the reality is I have the utmost respect for the talent that it takes to be a professional wrestler. I respect the athleticism. I respect the amount of charisma. I respect the physicality. And when I say fake, I'm not talking about you don't get fucked up. I'm talking about you're not fighting. It's not a fight to the death. It's not a gladiator battle like the IWC wants to believe it is, right? Professional wrestlers are closer to action movie stars than they are to being UFC cage fighters. That's just reality. And it's pretty common knowledge. Most people know this. And if me saying this out loud, or The Rock saying this out loud, or an actress on TV saying this out loud makes you feel a certain way, you got to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Like, I've watched wrestling since the Attitude Era. That's how old I am. I'm an old-ass man. And I appreciate that The Undertaker felt the need to stay in character and to not break kayfabe. But spoiler alerts, there was never a point in time that I believed The Undertaker was really a dead man. And it wouldn't have changed my experience had I found out otherwise, or if I found out that The Undertaker goes to McDonald's and he eats in regular clothes. Now, respect to The Undertaker. We've had actors like Johnny Depp and certain people who will protect their craft and method act and things like that. That's great. That's awesome. But not everybody has to do it. Not everybody does it. And not at 8 years old, not at 13 years old, not at 21 years old, at 30 years old. And now I'm 2 days removed from being 40. I don't need kayfabe. I don't have to have it. I like it when the 2 hours that wrestling's on, I'd prefer that they don't tell me over and over again that this is not real. But what happens in between is not really that big of a deal. You guys got to kind of come to grips with this evolving and this changing that is happening in a social media area. I saw someone tell me the minute there was internet, kayfabe died. And I believe that to be true. I just wasn't as knowledgeable of like dirt sheets and things like that existing. But now that there's dirt sheets and social media, I mean, how do you guys handle certain wrestlers whose social media name is not their wrestling name? Do you guys just completely ignore who they are? Or are you able to comprehend that like Becky Lynch has a life outside of a wrestling ring with a child and she's a mom? But when she steps in the ring, she can play a character that is very different from who she is. I'm guessing Seth Rollins probably a pretty chill, normal dude when he steps out of the ring. But when he gets in the ring, all the costumes, the kind of the narcissism and those things, those are things he's created up to play a character. So you guys got to come to grips with this idea that like, we know they're acting. We got it, right? And if The Rock says it, or an actor says it, or your favorite podcaster says it, it shouldn't affect your ability to enjoy the product.